Guys, it all comes down to raw chicken.
Of course. Of course. The science. We have finally figured out the science of what makes a healthy, happy, horny, all around awesome, amazing, tremendous human being.
It's raw chicken. 300 days of trying. We finally figured it out. But no. What I figured out is it all comes down to energy. How much energy you can create. That's the key. How much energy can you harness from your environment to make the best possible biochemical state for your body so you can feel the best, the optimal, euphoric, natural high, whatever you want to call it, the best you can feel. That's what it is all about, what every human being searches, and most people are searching from way out there, from very dark places. They in that Plato's cave, deep. They've been digging that hole hella deep. But when they come outside of the hole, they found nature. Nature is the environment that creates the most amount of energy in you. This is what I have. Jack Kruse was. There's a reason I've been having a lot of videos about that guy in the last few days. Because he really put the puzzle pieces together for me in the end. We started with the food here, and I've been pretty good with the food for some time, but there was still something missing. That's why we went to the raw meat. Because you can always feel when something's a little off. Just a little bit off. It doesn't feel right. You can feel that. So we started the base science with the raw chicken experiment. An experiment with the raw meat stuff. Raw animal products in general. Raw stuff. That was cool. But it still didn't feel like the pieces were together. But with this raw meat stuff, there's this big idea to return to nature. Be together with nature. Because in nature, we would have to eat raw meat at least sometimes. And people who still live closer to the nature eat the raw meat stuff way more. And they don't seem weirded about it, scared about it, none of that shit. Also, that ties to the terrain theory, what really makes us ill. How germ theory has been hoaxed against us by the Rockefellers and shit. We have gone down that rabbit hole many times. Check out those videos. But still, with that stuff, in my reality something was missing because I was making major mistakes that I can see now. I was doing major mistakes to the first 200 days of this experiment. Back when Jack Kruse, when I reintroduced myself with the Dr. Kruse, I've known about him for years, but I've never really looked into his work because of his appearance, and I haven't listened to any of his stuff because of his physical appearance, honestly. And some guys that I did follow years ago were a little negative about it because they were selling some supplements. But back then I was following those guys and they had a negative view about Dr. Cruz. And that kind of stuck into me like, yeah, he looks kind of fat, worn out. But that's besides the point. Because he really put the environment, the natural, you have to be in sync with whole nature. It's not just the food. I have realized the food is not the most important thing. It's still super important. You are what you eat. But you cannot actually utilize the food nearly as well if you are not in harmony with your environment, which should be nature. That's the whole thing. Probably the most important video for my health I've made in the 200 to 300 day. Two most important videos in that period that you can go check it out is no fruits in winter. I think that was the first one that came out. That was a huge one. I have talked about local food since the beginning. And I said in those videos that I still eat these fruits because fruits, they taste good. You get a little sugar high. It's part of the animal-based culture. Animal-based eating. These are these internet trends that really sometimes go so against the nature. You can have bananas or good shit in there too, but then these couple things might be the last straws, might be the major mistakes that fuck up your whole thing. Not the whole thing, but fucking up your things constantly. The fruit, that was a big one. I have seen such a huge benefit quitting out fruits and in general all foods that doesn't come from my near environment, excluding oysters and some raw cheeses sometimes. We do the best we can, but sometimes you gotta have a little fun also. 80-20 rule or whatever. That's another internet talking about 80-20 rule. Every influencer 80-20 rule. But you know, you did the best you can. The fruit really made my skin way better because I was having some issues with acne in the fall and in the early winter, November, December especially. And I talked about those. You can go see my face back then. I ain't hunting sheep. And I still think some of the raw cheeses and raw milk give me a little bit of acne. Especially the raw cheeses I eat that are not local. But you gotta have a little bit of fun sometimes. But yeah, the fruit was a big one. And in perfect sync in that time, my circadian rhythms, which is the second and the most important video I made this whole time, falling in love with my circadian rhythms. And those rhythms rhyme with nature so well. Syncing up with the natural light and dark cycle. And here's really, the fruit thing is also Jack Cruz information from a long time ago. And this is also a big one because Jack Cruz's top tier list food is like 5 or 6 most important thing. But number 1 is light, number 2 is darkness. Or they are like 1 and 1. And when I quit the fruit, it just perfectly started to sync my very broken circadian rhythms. Like last year at this time, my circadian rhythms were horrible. Like absolute garbage. I used to wake up at 12 p.m., sometimes 1 p.m. That was terrible for me. But in that time it started to sink and it has just gone better and better. Now I'm just waking up with the sun. I straight away go out in the balcony, or even better, out to the streets like I did today. Take my shoes off, ground myself, and watch at the direction of sun every single morning. And this has been just like mind-blowingly how good that feels. Then it also helps that it is springtime and the weather is starting to be better, and I get way more sunlight now than I did in the winter. Like that just goes to show how important sun is. Praise the sun. Praise the sun even more than raw chicken, because the sun produces us raw chicken. So waking up with the sunrise, seeing the sunrise, with as little clothes as possible, with my feet on the bare ground, earthing in sync with the earth. That has been amazing. Also spending way more time outside, way less time with this electronic tech shit. Because also that's Jack Cruz. I have realized how bad actually it is to be in an environment with these frequencies. They're basically nuking us with these frequencies. It all comes down to these electronics, signals, blue light, unnatural environment. So I've been way more outside, way more into nature, way more into natural environment. Pretty much as much as I can. Like I have really stepped that up to the next level. And the benefit, like, it just makes you feel so good. And when you combine these things with the food, relationships, you combine all aspects together, you start stacking up the vitality. And it's all basic science. This technology shit destroys our dopamine. We become incredible low dopamine, which is one way they control us. It destroys our hormonal signaling. That's the leptin reset to see the sunlight every morning. That's the master hormone that controls your other hormones, that your body actually has a connection with the brain. So your brain actually knows what the hell is going on with your body and with your environment, so it can create that biochemical state I was talking about. That beautiful biochemical state that every human being is searching for. Every human being wants. That's the goal. Because that's when you feel cool. You feel cool as well. Cool as a cucumber. You feel good. You feel content. Happy. Hungry. Horny. That's what everybody wants. And that's the key to create the most amount of energy in your body. Being in the nature, eating natural food, having as natural relationships as you can in this world. That's tough one. But yeah, those are the most important things. And it's also the springtime. Summer is coming. But as you can see from my skin, I'll be getting that sun. It's 2nd of April when I'm filming this. And I look like it's full summer here, and I live in Finland, bruh. There's nobody in Finland as tan as me, who's been in the Finland whole winter. Many people go to Thailand or Spain or Portugal, Canary Islands. Anyway, that's my 300-day update. We might do 300-day special massive health update still. This is a low-key 300-day update for the real G's, real geniuses. But yeah, if you into the food box still, you only see the food, you only see the raw meat, you only see the natural foods or whatever diet. Look a bit further, there's another level. And we found that shit. That's really been putting everything together for me beautifully. And I'm gonna report to you if I start to feel otherwise. But this just feels 100,000%. This is it, because it puts you out there in the nature. What everybody talks about, but we be about it. Peace.